right. Hello, geometry. I am not in today. So you've taken your quiz 9, and now we're going to take some notes on arc length. Okay, not a lot, just a short bit of notes. So, and then we'll do some practice problems. Okay, arc length. What is it? So we've got a circle. We're going to call it circle O. All right, arc length is the distance along an arc length, okay? And arc length could be, the circumference is the arc length of the whole circle, but we're talking about arc length, generally we mean a piece. What is the length? Okay, we're gonna call it L, all right? This length, what is the length of this arc in distance? We measure it in inches or centimeters or feet or meters, any, different miles, okay? It could be lots of things, but it's distance, okay? There's a formula for it. It's pretty simple. It's here it is. It's the length of the arc, it's a proportion, over the circumference is equal to, that's the length of the arc over the circumference of the whole circle is equal to the amount of the angle that's cut out. The angle is in cutting off this much arc length, okay, intercepting, and so the angle that's intercepting it over 360 degrees. So we see what's on the bottom. The whole circle's on the bottom. The pieces of the circle are on the top, okay, of our proportion. So example, find the arc length of AD. That's what we want, the arc length of AD. So, let's start with what we know about this circle. Well, let's list. What do I know about it? Well, I see from here that the radius of the circle equals 6 centimeters. If the radius is 6, then the diameter equals 12 centimeters. Okay? What would the circumference be then? Well, the circumference is pi times d, so it's 12 pi. Okay, so I wrote that pi times 12, but I could write it 12 pi is how I would generally write circumference. Okay? So these things we know about our circle. Okay? So what we're going to do, let's talk about the angles. We have this arc. We know that this piece of the arc is 28, therefore this piece in degrees is 180 minus 28 degrees will give us 152 degrees, okay? All right, so we know that that's 152. So I want to know what is the arc length of AD. So I say that the length over the circumference is equal to x over 360, okay? So the length, which I don't know, right? That's what I'm trying to figure out, the arc length. But I do know the circumference of the circle. The circumference of the circle is, let's put in the things we know in red, is 12 pi. We knew that, and we substituted, okay? Equals, now x degrees. I know that the degree of this arc is 152, so I'm going to put that in red. I already substituting what I know, 152. That is the amount, the degrees, 152, okay? Over the degrees of the whole circle. Well, I know that, that's 360, okay? So what I don't know, what I do know. And what do I do to solve it? It's a proportion. I cross multiply and divide, okay? So when I cross multiply and divide, I get L times 360 equals 152 times 12 pi. Okay, and I'm doing that on my handy dandy calculator. So L times 360 equals 12 pi times 152 times 12 pi equals 5,730. Just leave it that. And now I'm going to solve for L. So I'm going to divide both sides by 360. Okay. And by the way, when I multiplied this, I just used a calculator, and it's just one number. This is 3.14 times 12 times 152, okay? All right, now these cancel, and I get L equals 17.9 centimeters when I do this on my calculator. Okay? All right. Let's do it again. Okay, so I have a circle over here. Let's list what we know. Okay, we know that the radius is 4.5. Radius equals 4.5 centimeters. All right, if the radius is 4.5, then the diameter is twice that, 9 centimeters. Well, if I know the diameter or the radius, I know the circumference. The circumference of the circle is pi d. So it's 9 times pi. There's what I know. Now, what else do I know? I know that the degree, we want the arc AD. We're going to want different arcs, DC and then AC. We want different arcs, okay? But let's start with what I know. I know that the angle of AD is 40, okay? What I don't know is the length. We'll call it length 1. I don't know this arc length. So let's set up our proportion, okay? Length 1, which I don't know, over the circumference of the circle, 9 pi, is equal to the degrees of the arc that I'm intercepting, 40 degrees over 360 degrees. Cross multiply and divide. And I get 360 L1, cross multiply, let's multiply this, equals, do this on your calculator, and I'm just going to, let me just put it up here, okay, I'm going to say 9 pi, second pi. Now my pi is right here. It's the blue key. I had to hit the blue key first and then the up arrow. So 9 pi times 40. Enter. And I get 1130. 1130. We're just going to cut that off and not worry about the decimals today. Now, that's what I have. And now I'm going to divide both sides by 360. Okay, I'm on my calculator and I get divide by 360 and I get 3.1 centimeters. Length 1 equals 3.1 centimeters. Okay, I'm going to do a different color. Let's look at another arc. So that was arc L1. Let's look at arc DC. Let's look at, we'll call this L2. We're looking at what is the length of this arc. We set up a proportion again. We say length, which I don't know, over the circumference of the whole circle, which is still 9 pi, is equal to, now what is this degrees? I'm looking back here. I have to figure it out. Well, if this is a diameter and this is 40, then this must be 140 degrees. Okay? So I say 140 degrees over 360 degrees. And then I just do the math, right? L2 times 360 equals 9 pi times 140, which gives me 3958. I divide by 360, and I get the arc that I want is, it's already on my calculator, right? So that number is just on my, just going to divide by 360. I'm going to get 10.9, which I'm going to call 11, okay? 11 centimeters. All right, last one. We're arc of DAC. Color it, DAC. So that's DAC, coloring it in purple. That's my arc, okay? Now I know I'm going to need the amount, the degrees, right? So I know this is 180 plus 40, okay? So 180 plus 40 is going to be 220, okay? That's the amount of arc I'll be trying to figure out. So let's set up our proportion. We've got, we'll call this length 3. So we've got 3 over the circumference, 9 pi, is equal to 220 degrees over 360 degrees. L3 times 360 equals 9 pi times 220. 220. Do it on my calculator. Divide by 360. And I'm 17.3. L3, I'm going to round it up, is 17.3 centimeters. Take it to the 10th place. Okay? All right, so you're going to do some practice now. you have a classwork. I will see you next class.